Siobhan Kennedy reporting. Well, let's talk to the Conservative MP and member of the Commons Treasury Committee, Jessie Norman, now. Jessie Norman, morally bankrupt, verging on illegal. How would you describe what you've just seen?
Well, if these allegations can be stood up, then it sounds like it's both of those things. And what is extraordinary about this is that RBS has already been the subject of two serious reports. One by a man called Lawrence Tomlinson, who is advising the BIS, Department of Business, and secondly by Andrew Large, a noted city figure who's been brought in by RBS. And when we had hearings with each of these, Tomlinson gave us a very trenchant picture of the performance and behaviour of RBS and picked out GRG as a potential source of huge concern amongst the entrepreneurs and the business people he'd been talking to. And then Andrew Large came in afterwards separately and said that he thought that these allegations were plausible. But what we've lacked has been real evidence, and what I'm hoping you're going to be providing as a result of this is just the evidence that really nails down these allegations. OK,
so despite those inquiries, GRG is still operating. There are rumours, I'll put it no stronger than that RBS is going to shut it down. Is that what you'd like to see?
Well, I think so. The thing about GRG is that, as Andrew Large told me when I questioned him on it, it was acting as judge and jury in its own cause. And so it was able to decide whether or not these firms were able to pay their bills, and it was able then to take action. And in some cases, the action was, as we've heard, to drive those businesses out of business. And what's so extraordinary about it was that it was being run as a profit centre. So you would expect an institution like this to be one which is about a careful workout of the relationship between a bank and its creditors, or rather a company and its creditors, and the support of the bank can offer it in order to get its own money out. That wasn't what was happening here. What was happening here, it appears, is that in many cases the bank was actually taking active steps to heedlessly perhaps, or in some cases even potentially intentionally drive it out of business. OK,
but you believe that GRG should be shut down by RBS?
Well, I think we need to let these processes proceed. It's the subject of several reports at the moment, but if they can be stood up, then that sounds very much like it should be, yes.
But clearly you've had with Barclays, profits down today. Lloyds this week is going to have to put more money aside for the payment protection insurance scandal. It's clear, isn't it, that the banks are still broken, aren't they?
Well, the banks are very, very clearly still struggling, and we've seen the kind of trouble this has placed on small businesses in particular. I mean, if you go to small businesses up and down the country, certainly in my constituency in Herefordshire, they are struggling for lack of bank finance. And the idea that some of these institutions could be behaving like this while small businesses are unable to get the loans and the capital that they require to grow, and of course all our incomes depend on that, and our employment depends on it, is really
and paying
shocking.
Bonuses, including RBS.
And paying bonuses. And of course the question, we know that bonuses have been reformed from a regulatory standpoint. What we haven't seen is the kind of discipline that we would expect and the kind of sharing of risk, so that every one of these institutions feels the pain when some rogue part of it is misbehaving, if that's what's happened here.
Jessie Norman, thank you very much for joining me.